contain language of an adult nature. Listener discretion is advised.
Views and opinions expressed on the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff or management of alltalkradio.net.
Brothers and sisters! Brothers and sisters! I don't know what this world is coming to.
Hey yo, check this out, this is Flavor Flav, and if you want the whole truth, and nothing but the whole truth, so help the whole truth. Hey yo, you better listen to Dante, baby. Dante!
What's going on, y'all? And welcome to another edition of the Dante's Boxing Nation Show. I am your host, Dante, and we've been going for a while, but we're about to bring y'all into the new year, 2015, baby, in full EFFECT, other known as effect, baby. But the first thing I want to do is introduce my man in the studio with me right here. My co-host right here. Check it out. Norrin, a rebel in his own mind. Supporter of my rhyme, designed to scatter a line of decaps when I do crime. They on my time, kick it.
Hey, yo, D-man, these decaps can't handle the truth. They breaking down, son. You got them running scared, son.
All day, baby, all day. And let me go and introduce all my guests online. First in the row, baby, Ego. Met one of the best boxing channels out there on YouTube. What's going on, Ego?
What's up? I'm in the building.
No doubt.
Yes, sir. And this man right here, he been in a coma for a while, but we woke him up and we brought him back so he can spit the truth to y'all. My man Ranger, welcome back, man.
What's up? What's up? Here to wipe people's tears away. Come on.
No doubt.
AK in the building, A-Rab King. Check his YouTube channel out. What's going on, AK?
What's up? What's up? AK in the house.
That's what it is. Let's get it in. Let's get it in. That's how we do it.
That's
you know what I'm saying? We've been going for a minute.
I'm talking about.
Man, we changing the game, man. We changing the goddamn game.
Flavor Flav.
But anyway, y'all, welcome to the show. AllTalkRadio.net, BoxingTalk.com. And we're going to go ahead and get into it. Now, the first thing I want to talk about, guys, is Guillermo Rigo, man. Guillermo Rigo is fighting against Rigondeaux-Amagasa. And, you know, Guillermo been looking like a beast, man. He's been looking like a beast. Y'all seen the videos that I uploaded, and Ranger, he uploaded some of the footage. You know, I may even play some of the clips as we doing this show right here. But he looks good. Now, this is what first I want to start with you, Ranger. I want to ask you, man. Rigo is pound for pound, number 3, one of the best fighters in the world, the most avoided fighter. Why would they not be advertising this fight? Because he just had his weigh-in. I've never seen a fighter on this level where they don't even advertise the weigh-in and have pictures of the weigh-in and so on and so forth. I mean, why do you think they would even do this, Ranger?
Well, that right there should tell you the type of sport we're living in. That right there should tell you what us, the fans, have allowed, right? Because it's ultimately up to us. People keep thinking, oh, this HBO keep doing this, promoters keep doing this. No, we keep doing this. Because the minute we accept this and the minute we ride with everything they throw at us, they're going to keep doing it. It's like your kid, you know. When you're raising a child, they're going to keep testing you as a father. Let me see what he can let me get away with. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So the minute we keep letting them get away with that, with things like this, they're just going to take the sport and destroy pretty much the sport. It's become first business, then a sport, right? And we've lost. That's the reason we don't have the type of quality fighters that we used to have, because today, anybody that has a group of groupies behind them, they put them up there with a green belt in their waist, and they calling them pound for pound in the world. Mm-hmm. Yet the guy with the actual skills to be in that position, they keeping them in the dark because supposedly, right, he doesn't bring in the money. But like I said on my video, and I don't want to take too much time away from the other guys, but like I said on my video, it's funny to me when people go and give me the dumb excuse of, well, you know what, Ranger, the thing is, Rigo does not bring in money. Rigo does not bring in the seats. Let's keep in mind here that Rigo is the highest paid 122-pounder in the world. Mm-hmm. No one above him. Nobody's making the money that he's making at that weight division. But also, it's funny to me the fact that they're willing to see their fighter fight their sparring partner, somebody who also not known, somebody who's also not bringing in the money, right? As a matter of fact, if you fight your sparring partner, you're going to make a lot less money than what you're making by fighting Rigo. But not only that, if you beat this sparring partner, you don't gain that much recognition. Yeah. Imagine if you go in there and you beat Rigo and you get those 2 belts. You just beat the Jackal, you know?
Of course.
But fans hear these excuses, you know, like Leo Santa Cruz, I don't want to fight him because nobody likes his style, you know? Listen.
Great impersonation.
Nobody is a big word, and that does not include me. And when fans hear this, they go on YouTube and they tell me the same. Santa Cruz just said, nobody wants to fight him because nobody likes his style. But you're willing to sit down and watch Santa Cruz fight his sparring partner. I don't know. I think Rigo's story is pretty sad, honestly, in the sense that nobody's been abandoned as much as Rigo has. And the excuse cannot be he's a boring fighter. The excuse cannot be that he runs, because his last 3 fights he's been standing in the middle of the ring. Even Chavez Sr. had to acknowledge that in Rigo's last fight. And Rigo is just taking all these excuses away. He's putting weight up to himself. There are rumors out there that he started a lifting program with a Cuban Creole diet, which, you know, we Cubans, we know that diet is going to make you fat if you don't work out. But I don't know how much of a truth that is. That's just rumors as of now. And I was kind of actually believing it because I saw Rigo's body look a little, you know, fitter, a little tighter, a little bigger. You know what I mean?
Well, he definitely looked.
It's just a sad story.
No, it is. And he definitely looked a lot stronger. And I won't even say stronger because he was always stronger. He has a high knockout ratio. He looked strong. He looked very impressive when he was training. And to me, it looks like the hate is just motivating Rigo to fight even harder, to look even better. You know, you keep having you know, the haters and the decaf saying, oh, he's boring, he's boring. He just got a first-round knockout. Now, if he gets a knockout over Amagasa, you guys are going to still say he's boring? You know, I mean, it's sad because you could tell it's more personal. And these fans, they understand that if they continue to say something, even though it's not true, if they continue to say it over and over again, eventually they'll get a lot of people to believe it. It spreads like wildfire is what happens. It's like if you have like Republicans saying that, you know, all the people that are on welfare are black and Latinos, right? And then you look at the numbers and you find out that's not even true. You know, technically the majority of people on welfare are white people, right? And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it, but if you keep telling people this over and over and over again, people will start to believe it. So, I mean, now let me go ahead and ask you, Norrin. So, like I said, a lot of people, you got people trying to defend Leo Santa Cruz for not fighting him. Now, Leo, I remember the first thing Leo said was, my father doesn't like that fight. He said, my father doesn't want me to fight him. He said that at first, right? And then, you know, on top of that, he doesn't want to fight him. Scott Quigg doesn't want to fight him. Carl Frampton doesn't want to fight him. But then some people are saying that it's Al Heyman who doesn't want the fight to happen. But Scott Quigg and Carl Frampton, they're not even with Al Heyman, number one. And Leo Santa Cruz made it very clear his father didn't want the fight. So, I mean, are we supposed to blame this on Al Heyman? Is Leo Santa Cruz ready? What should he do, Norrin?
Okay, when you asked the question to Oscar De La Hoya, has Al Heyman tried to prevent any big fights from happening? Does he have a history of trying to prevent any big fights from happening? What was Oscar's reply? What was his answer to you?
He said not at all. He said he's been very optimistic to making all fights. So that kind of shuts that down.
Exactly. So, according to all reports, it's not that Al Heyman has a track record of trying to prevent big fights. So I don't see any blame being cast in that direction. You know, his father didn't like the style matchup, and that's what it's about.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, you know, sometimes we can be, you know, or let's say like this. We've been somewhat critical. Well, you know, that's what we do. That's our job. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, like, for instance, the Lara and Golovkin situation, we've been critical of Golovkin for why he didn't want to take that fight. But the thing is, with Golovkin, I appreciate because, you know, they give answers that make sense. You know what I mean? And as well as not only make sense, they're kind of honest about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't shy away from saying, hey, it's a bad style matchup right now, and that's not good for business right now. You know what I mean? And basically that's what it is with Rigo and these guys. You know what I mean? They don't want to go in there. You know, obviously Rigo is going to be the favorite. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to say obviously Rigo is going to beat all these guys. He's going to beat Quigg, Frampton, and Santa Cruz. But more than likely he will.
Yeah.
And that's not what these guys want right now. These guys are steadily building their brand, so they're avoiding them. The part that becomes, you know, degenerate, you know what I mean, is the fact that, like you said, they lie. You know what I mean? And again, I understand you want to spin it and you don't want to make yourself look bad. But, you know, when you put all the blame on the guy and say, oh, he's boring, oh, he doesn't put asses in the seats, you know what I mean? That's where it becomes, you know, an insult to your intelligence. Because, like you said, this guy, he's the highest guy, you know, the highest paid guy fighting at 122. You know what I mean? He's the number 3 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. You know what I mean? So, like you said, you're fighting a motherfucker, you know, hey, you're fighting a motherfucker who nobody even knows. You know what I mean? And then you're talking about, oh, well, you know, we're not going to make the right amount of money if we fight Guillermo El Chaco Rigondeaux. You know what I mean? So, like you said, it does at least make sense with your excuses. You know what I mean? So, hey, no, it's not Al Heyman's fault at all. It's that these guys don't want to get in there with a big risk like Rigo and get their ass whooped.
Yeah, and one more thing, too, on the Al Heyman thing. Eddie Hearn, he just recently said that he talked to Al Heyman, and Al Heyman has been willing to work with him. I forget which fight it was. Which fight is it? It's a fight. Oh, Kell Brook. That's what it was. He said that Al Heyman is yeah. So I mean, we can't use that excuse. I want to go ahead and also
not at all.
Yeah, I want to go ahead and also welcome Ekingfightnews, Ekingfight YTBC. He just joined you know, us right now. Welcome to the show, man.
Hey, what up, Dante? Appreciate the intro.
No doubt. I feel you coming a mile away, man. I heard you dialing up, man, so I knew you was coming. Right. You know. So anyway, welcome to the show, bro. Now let's go ahead with Ego. Ego. So what do you think, man? Do you think Leo should just come out and just say, look, man, I'm not on that level right now. Let me build up my career.
There you go.
I know it's going to be an uphill battle. Let me build up my career because I really admire what this guy is doing. Should he be like that, or should he just continue to make excuse after excuse, Ego?
I definitely think honesty is the best policy. So I would rather say he's not right for me right now, because then at that point, no one can say anything.
Yeah.
You already admit you're ducking. You know what I'm saying? Just admit it. Then no one could say, oh, he's ducking. He's already admitted he's ducking. And the problem is when they don't say that, and instead they try to bash, and then you get your fact checker, and then you're like, hey, wait, that doesn't make sense. So he's boring, so you don't want to fight him, but he's a champion. Or then you look at the actual factuals, and then you see that Rigondeaux has a higher KO percentage than Leo Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
So you're like, hey, he's boring, but he has a higher KO percentage than me. Or like Rangers said, oh, he's boring, it's not good money, whatever the situation, get the fact checker, and then you see he's fighting on a Mayweather card, fighting his sparring partner, like a real sparring partner, and he actually knocked him out. And if you know boxing, you know Leo Santa Cruz, he's a good fighter, terrific fighter, but he's not really a knockout artist.
Yeah.
He's more of a TKO guy. So the fact that he knocked him out just shows you what type of match it was. So it makes no sense. It's utterly ridiculous that people want to front on Rigo and say, oh, he's not good. I believe you can market anybody. I went to Florida 2 times last year, and the Cuban population is ridiculous. I was at the bodega. They have this Cuban bread. You have to try it if you go out.
Oh, man, don't talk about it.
Man, Ranger knows.
Ranger knows.
But yeah, I mean, the Dominicans, the Cubans, the population, they were all out in large numbers. So you say you can't promote this guy. Did you try making a fight in, I don't know, maybe the 305 Miami, where there's a large demographic of Latinos, Cubans, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans? No, you didn't. You rather put them, like sweep them under the rug and act like this dude's not a problem and say, oh, we can't promote him. You can promote him. You're just not trying. I mean, you might not be able to promote him in, like, around where I'm at in Sacramento, you know what I'm saying? But there's definitely, I feel, a demographic where they would appreciate his skill. And I've never seen an era of boxing where I think the fans a lot of them don't really know. Like, a lot of the previous fans, they know how talented Pernell Whitaker was or whoever. So they wanted to see Chavez Sr. versus Pernell Whitaker. But nowadays, fans don't really know. And I think Norrin said it. They go off of what people tell them, like Jim Lampley or whoever, YouTube, boxing channels, and they just run with it. Oh, Rigo's boring, but they don't take the time to appreciate and look at the skill set. To me, it's marvelous how he evades and can make a bigger fighter with power who hadn't lost in 11 years, like Nonito Donaire, and have him moonwalking in the 12th round holding his eye. To me, that's impressive. I'm like, how's a little dude like Rigondeaux doing this? And it's just like if you had a dog. If me and Dante were in the alley or whatever, and there's a dog, and Dante, you get close to the dog and it starts growling, are you going to keep? It's a pit bull. Are you going to keep getting close to that dog? No, because you know what the implications are. And I think that's with Rigo. People are saying he's boring. It's because they get gun shy and they get hesitant because they see the skill set and they're not on his level. So they kind of stiff up and freeze up and don't let their hands go. I guarantee you, if Donaire would have let his hands go, or if Becco, then they probably would have got stopped.
Of course.
You know what I mean? But
yeah, and I'll just say this.
They're not going.
And I'll just say this real quick, and I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead, bro.
Imagine, they keep saying Rigo cannot be marketed, but we look at where he's being fighting, right? Imagine Canelo fighting in Miami.
Exactly. What's he doing in China?
Yeah.
Japan.
Exactly. Like I said at the beginning, isn't it pretty odd? Pound for pound, number 3, the best fighter in the world. They're not even advertising. They're not even promoting his weigh-in. I checked every single website before I came to the studio.
For shame, Bob,
to see
for
pictures
shame.
of the actual weigh-in. They don't even have pictures of Rigo's fight. I mean, they're sending a deliberate message when it comes to him. And I just want to say something, respond to what you said, Ego. It's not the fact that people aren't looking at his skill set. No, they are looking at his skill set, and they're impressive. They just don't like who's delivering the skill set. That's the problem. Yeah. They don't like who has the skill set. And so, like I said, once again, I mean, they see the numbers, they see the knockout ratio, but they don't care. Like I told you, like I said in a video a while ago, I was talking to this one guy who was saying that, the decaf shit, oh, he's boring, he's this and that. I said, dude, he just got a first-round knockout. And it's like he kept ignoring that. And he kept saying over and over, the guy is boring, though, but he's boring. I said, dude, did you hear what I said? He just got a first-round knockout. And the dude put a little smirk on his face and just shook his head. Because he didn't want to accept it, So
I'm going to tell you like this. Right, the boring thing, this is exactly, break it down to all the fans, all the viewers. The boring thing stems from boxing and the levels to it. There's levels to this shit. So the fact that most guys aren't able to compete with the skill set and what Rigo brings to the table, the power, the speed, the delivery, the counter-punching ability, the elusiveness, since they can't compete, you see a clear-cut, definitive difference in actual skill set and levels. Therefore, it's not as entertaining to you because it's one-sided. You know what I'm saying? If you look at Brandon Rios versus Mike Alvarado, yeah, it's a hell of a fight. It's entertaining Fight of the Year candidate because those guys are near each other in terms of skill set and what they do stylistically. But when you got a guy who's way up here, yeah, it's like Michael Jordan if he went to an 8th grade basketball game, he'll probably blow those kids out the water just because he's Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And
that's really what I feel it is. It's
ego.
And let me
sorry
add,
to interrupt.
let me add
I
on.
Gotta say,
let me add on.
I gotta say,
go ahead. Ranger, go ahead.
Go ahead, E-King. Go ahead.
A lot of this has to do with race.
Yeah.
There you go.
A lot of this has to do with race.
There we go.
Stereotypes.
Because Terrence Crawford, before Terrence Crawford was brought to Omaha to do his, thing against Yuriorkis Gamboa and Ray Beltran, he went off to England, and HBO didn't want to take his fight. We had to watch that shit on Box Nation, right?
Yeah.
And, HBO was criticizing Terrence Crawford back when his previous fight, when he fought, don't remember his name, but he fought someone on HBO. HBO criticized him. They didn't take the Ricky Burns fight, and then they took him versus Gamboa in Omaha, and suddenly he's action Terrence Crawford. But Guillermo Rigondeaux, A-class boxer, and he's fighting in fucking China.
Japan,
Like,
Japan.
what's he doing in China?
Japan.
I know it's towards the end of his contract.
I
But you
shouldn't
guys
say
know
that.
what I
Sorry,
mean.
China.
They could easily bring Guillermo Rigondeaux to Miami, and not only that, but back when Top Rank had Kelly Pavlik, when HBO rejected Kelly Pavlik versus Marco Antonio Rubio, if you remember, Top Rank did their own pay-per-view. They were like, fuck it, we'll do our own pay-per-view, and we'll showcase Kelly Pavlik. But they don't want to do that with fucking guys like Guillermo Rigondeaux. They could put a ton of prospects on a card and just put on pay-per-view, and they'll break even.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
or throw on fucking Ruslan Provodnikov versus Brand Real, some shit like that. They could do a pay-per-view. But they don't want to do that.
And let me say this to
what
let me say this to what Ego.
The funny thing too.
Yeah, let me
Go
just
ahead,
say this
Norrin.
real quick to what Ego was saying also. Because like Ego was saying, what the boring, what the basis is, and it also goes into what A King just said as well. There seems to be like a need to project certain stereotypes about certain fighters, obviously, or as we always say, the coincidental list. You know what I mean? The fighters on the coincidental list. The stereotype that needs to be projected or needs to be perpetuated about those type of fighters, the Laras, the Rigondeaux, you know what I mean, is that they're boring because they're kind of like cowardly runners. You know what I mean? So it's a boring fight. There's no excitement. They're not going in there and going toe to toe, and you know what I mean. So it all stems from that as well. You know what I mean? All that's tied in. So again, like I said, that goes right along with what Ego is saying as well, is why they get that stigma of being a boring fighter, is because it's unfortunately it's necessary for certain entities to perpetuate that stereotype that these guys are, running as opposed to fighting, which we know is buffoonery.
Yeah, and I just want to say real quick before I let you guys talk, I just think it's beautiful when you have people in the same room or in the same circle of different races, nationalities, and they can all accept, that this does have something to do with race.
True indeed.
I mean, because the whole thing is, you have to talk about this stuff. See, they want us to sweep this under the rug and act like it doesn't exist.
Yeah,
when we do that, that makes people more confident to bring it up, to make it racial, But when you bring it out and you talk about it more, that makes those people feel more uncomfortable to do it because we're exposing what they really about. Go ahead, guys.
I was just gonna say, if that's the case, then everybody should be clamoring for the Leo Santa Cruz fight. Why not? He's a volume guy,
absolutely,
great body puncher, and make Rigondeaux work. He's boring, and he's tough, and he has the Mexican heart and everything else. And I hate the whole boring argument because it's just like pointless. Because if you look through history, boxing history, guys like Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., he was good at imposing his will. What he lacked in technical ability, he could get in there with someone who's faster than him, and come up with the win at the end, or make a competitive fight. So if Rigondeaux's boring, it's up to you to make him unboring. I know that's not a word,
and that's exactly my
we know what you mean, man. We know what you mean.
And that's exactly my point. Back in the days, man, you had all these fighters like the Terrible Morales, El Finito Lopez, Barreras, Chavez Sr. You had all these fighters that didn't give a damn about a full stadium. If you challenged them, you was about to fight them.
Yeah.
And that's when boxing was at the top, man, because we had fighters with balls, man. We had fighters that was, they had money in their mind because obviously that's how they made a living, but their pride was right there. You call me out, now we got to fight.
Yeah.
Those days are gone. Now we got a stable full of cowards calling themselves warriors.
Absolutely.
Just because they have a following.
Yeah. I mean,
get out of here and go eat some egg, bro. For real.
Because we know if Leo Santa Cruz was aggressively calling out Rigo, and Rigo said, "No, you ain't on my level. You ain't fought nobody yet. You don't deserve to fight me. Fight somebody first. You over here beating up your sparring partners. You fight somebody first, and then I'll give you a shot." If Rigo was saying that, they would be calling him the biggest coward, the biggest chicken in the sport of boxing. But you switch that shit around, and we know what time it is. Coincidentally.
I don't need to go to church this weekend, man. Y'all preaching here already.
Oh, man. We need to pass out the plate. You know what I'm saying?
This is another thing I don't understand about the New Age fans. Because the New Age fans, they would rather just be content talking about what would happen in an imaginary situation. Me, I'm about show and prove. Show me.
For sure.
Like the Edeslandi Lara versus Angulo fight. If you remember that fight, Angulo was in the Texas detention center for the immigration issue, and he was out of the sport for a while. He came back, and he had two rocky performances against less competition than Edeslandi Lara. And he looked slow as hell, and he looked pretty shitty. So when they announced Lara versus Angulo, I was like, man, Lara's going to easily put on a clinic. Easy. I didn't think it was going to be competitive. I watched that fight, and I'm like, this is actually a good fight.
Yeah.
Where Angulo had 2 knockdowns, cut off the ring well, hurt Lara, Lara hurt him, and it was good back and forth. So miss me with that. Oh, this would happen if Leo Santa Cruz fought Rigondeaux. Show me that Leo Santa Cruz is on the level to beat Rigo. I don't want to hear you talk about it because everyone has an opinion.
That's the reason why we make the fights, right? Right, AK?
Yeah, you know, but the fans know deep inside, everybody knows the truth. You know, when Cruz came out, you know, on the video that he said that the fans don't like Rigondeaux style, almost everybody disliked that video because everybody want to see that fight. A lot of people want to see that fight, and other than, of course, Cruz fans who don't want to see him lose. Because I remember when I made a video about Rigondeaux getting ducked, because, you know, I think I called it, you know, Rigondeaux being the most ducked fighter today and one of the most feared fighters of all time. You know, I broke it down how Cruz is ducking him. And, I kind of eliminated all the excuses. And then you started hearing comments like, oh, well, Cruz, he got a family. Oh, Cruz want to live, though. My response to that, Rigondeaux ain't going to kill him. All he's going to do is just give him his highest purse, and then he could pay for, you know, whatever his kids want. And
he can
and
retire
all that.
with that.
But at the end of the day, yeah, you know what I'm saying? He's not going to kill him. He's going to beat his ass, but he ain't going to kill him in the ring. He's gonna make a lot of money, and the fans going to respect him if he fight Rigondeaux and performs well. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, like I said, we all know the truth. It's all about race. It ain't about being boring. It ain't none of that.
Yeah, and for the people who say, hey, why are you guys talking about race? I say to them, why don't you guys stop making this about race? Exactly. Why don't you start treating people based on their skills as opposed to their color?
Hey,
you know,
and let me just say this, that goes to what the point Ranger made, is it's up to us. It's up to guys like, you know what I mean, who got the balls to come out and say it. So, like he had said, we don't allow it. You know what I mean? Like all this bullshit that goes on, we don't even hear. We don't even know if Rigondeaux is fighting. This guy's the number 3 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. He's fighting in Japan, not China. They're not the same. y'all some funny motherfuckers. But regardless, though, you know what I mean? We're supposed to know about this. This is supposed to be publicized. It's supposed to be something that, you know, they're letting the boxing fans know about. And we can't allow that. You know what I mean? Like Ranger said. So that's why we're talking about it. And like you said, by us talking about it and continuing to expose it into 2015 and beyond, as we, you know what I mean? That's the only way we know how to do it. Like you said, we're going to continue to make these decasts uncomfortable and, you know, bring the truth to the light. I mean, and shed all the light on these brilliant fighters that deserve it.
Here's another thing, though. Here's another thing. We've all heard all this people talking about, the Cuban style is boring. You know, it's not a good style. You know,
I disagree.
We want more of the warrior type. But listen how haters contradict themselves. Okay, if the Cuban style is so boring, right, and it's not that good, right, and you guys don't like it, tell me why, right? In this past Pan American Games, the country of Mexico received a Cuban trainer under contract to train the Cuban semi-pro team to have a chance at beating the Cuban team. And now, if you notice, some of the pros coming out of Mexico, like the youngsters that are not even on ESPN yet, you know, they are adapting this stick and move style. But wait a minute. We was just talking about this style, and you guys were just saying it's not appetizing. But how come you guys are using it now? How come what's his name? Jesse Magdaleno, I think is his name. How come he uses that style, that stick and move style? How come all this? How come are they hiring trainers out of Cuba to bring in the Cuban school into the Mexican boxing? Why? If it's so boring, why?
Yeah, I mean, well,
fact. This is not me talking. They can go research it through whatever search engine they like, and they're gonna smack themselves once they read it.
Yeah, like I said, it's just the facts. You sit around here and you say something is boring, but then when you do it, oh, it's classy, it's boxing, it's sweet science. Like I said, Jim Lampley, you know, he'll tell you, Lomachenko will fight, he'll be like, oh my God, look at the beautiful movement. Look at the counter punching.
Jim
oh
Jeffries.
God, Muhammad Ali is back in the flesh. You know what I'm saying? He was on it. Then as soon as Floyd Mayweather do it, as soon as Guillermo Rigo do it, oh my God, this is boring. You know, can we cut this shit off? Because this is just boring. You know, he shouldn't even be in the pound for pound list because they booed him. And if anyone gets booed, how can they be one of the best? You know, I mean, silly talk, man. But we can talk. We can talk.
You know, I want to add something on to that whole
Please do.
that whole boring thing. Like a lot of people aren't going to agree with this.
Somebody's background is pretty loud. Just letting you know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Drama.
I was gonna say one thing that I noticed about the whole boring thing is Manny Pacquiao post knockout to Marquez. He's been boxing a lot more. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
5 years
As he should. And that's the excellent point.
He hasn't really had any knockdowns or knockouts, and he's been boxing and winning via that, just like Floyd Mayweather. But you get certain people, and because the appearance of them pushing the fight, automatically it's not boring, it's not boxing, it's not the sweet science, it's beautiful. And then Rigondeaux wins via decision, and it's the worst thing ever, or Floyd Mayweather or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I could go back even further than that fight. I mean, look, I go all the way back to Marco Antonio Barrera, where he was looking like the new Julio Cesar Chavez. And all of a sudden he got knocked out by Junior Jones, and he became a complete boxer counterpuncher. And no one called him boring. No one said, you know, I'm not watching this and so on and so forth. He can't be on the pound-for-pound list because of the way he fights. No one said that, you know. So anyway, let's try to move on a little bit. I want to go ahead and break some of the recent news. Al Heyman, well, no, actually, let's go to Mayweather versus Pacquiao. Because you guys heard there were rumors that Mayweather was negotiating with Miguel Cotto, offering him $40 million. I just want to let everybody know who doesn't know already that Bob Arum, he squashed that. He said that was complete nonsense. Why would he do that? You know, he's still looking at Cotto versus Canelo and Mayweather versus Pacquiao. So that's a little bit of a relief. You know, it doesn't guarantee we're going to get to see Mayweather-Pacquiao, but I think that's a little bit of a relief that they are still negotiating. Now, the first thing I want to say is the reason why I didn't make a video about that is because I already expected that was ridiculous. It didn't make sense. It didn't make sense for Bob Arum, you know, and Mayweather to all of a sudden who really don't want to work with each other. All of a sudden they both agree. Why don't I just fight, you know, Cotto? You know, Mayweather, it doesn't make sense, you know. The only way that would have made sense to me is if Cotto was a free agent and Bob Arum wanted Cotto and Mayweather said, you know what? I'm a pull Cotto from his ass.
Throw a monkey wrench.
So Bob Arum will be forced to step out of the way so me and Manny Pacquiao can continue to negotiate. It could have been a plot or a ploy for leverage towards a Mayweather versus Pacquiao fight. So I mean, what do you think about this, E. King? Is this good news? You think this brings us closer to the Mayweather Pacquiao fight? And what do you think about Bob Arum, man? Is he trying to be, you know, this huge ass I'm about to say monkey wrench or a roadblock in the middle of the road? What do you think, E. King? E. King?
You know, Bob Arum's always going to be Bob Arum. You know, Bob Arum wants to make money off both fights. He wants to have fucking Cotto Canelo on May 4th or May whatever, and he wants to have fucking Pacquiao Mayweather on another date because, you know, that's going to do huge numbers. That's all he cares about, man, his fucking pocket, man. And he's willing to hold up the fight just to make a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like, that's who Bob Arum is. And you know what? I really got to hold my tongue on this subject. Part of me just wants to wait it out and see if this fight gets made because I've literally gone over my head in terms of how I'm sure we've all like anticipated this fight at some point and then been let down at least 3 times.
Yeah.
So, just fuck.
It would be depressing. I'll tell you right now, it would be really depressing, Norrin. If I really want to see it just to shut up the decals. You know what I mean? So I mean, what do you think? And let me ask you about Dante's tacos and everything, man.
Shit.
I mean,
and Norrin's burritos. Burritos, bitch.
If you guys seen that video, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, Bob Arum, you know, he's a Jewish man.
Oh, shit.
He doesn't want Mayweather to fight on a Mexican holiday, right? He doesn't want him to fight against a Filipino guy on a Mexican holiday. Now, the Mexican guy, Oscar De La Hoya, he doesn't mind the black and the Filipino guy fighting on the holiday. Why does the Jewish guy care, Norrin?
All right, I'm gonna give a serious answer because my comical answers is just a little bit too much right now. So I'm gonna give a serious answer. He doesn't care. He doesn't give a fuck if it's Cinco de Mayo, if it's St. Patrick's Day, if it's you know what I mean, if it's fucking Kwanzaa. Bob doesn't care about that. It's I'm just almost hesitant to disagree with what E. King just said because yeah, it is all about the pockets, the bottom line with Bob and with promoters in general. That's their job, is to make money, of course, as well as the fighters themselves also. But with Bob, he has this thing against Mayweather. You know, he got this vindictive thing against Mayweather. And I'm really tempted. You know, even Ariza said it. Other people said it. The guy Frank Gacal, who was one of Pacquiao's supervisors, or not supervisors. What the fuck am I talking about? Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Ego. Exactly. One of Pacquiao's advisors. They've all said it. You know that Bob never wanted this fight to happen. It was more just to just to discredit Mayweather all along. That's what the whole Pacquiao hype was. Yeah, exactly. That's the whole Pacquiao hype was based off of. Just, you know, it's another boogeyman that Floyd was scared of. When they were serious about making the fight, Floyd, you know, he threw the monkey wrench, the proverbial monkey wrench again with the blood testing. They backed out. And ever since then, it's just been a litany of excuse after excuse. So Bob don't give a fuck about Cinco de Mayo. It's just, you know what I'm saying? It's just something, you know what I'm saying? Just another excuse and another way of making Mayweather look bad, like was said earlier, also to a certain demographic. You know what I mean? Which, you know, they don't need a whole lot of reasons to hate Mayweather anyway, but, you know, it's just adding more fuel to their fire. Oh, he's disrespecting the Mexicans. Like, come the fuck on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and let me just make a, correction or clear this up for the people who didn't hear the analogy I made with Dante's tacos.
Oh, shit.
I basically, and I'm gonna just sum it up real quick. I basically said, if I was slanging some badass tacos and I called them Dante's tacos, right? And I decided to move into a Mexican neighborhood because I know I'm gonna make even more money selling those tacos. And then some guy who comes in line, I got a line wrapped around the block just for Dante's tacos, right? And I got some guy, he comes up in the line and he says, "Hey, Dante, what the hell are you doing selling these tacos in our hood? You taking business from us. We should be making this money," so on and so forth, right? And then after he says something like that, he says, "By the way, let me order 4 tacos, and where the damn cilantro and the onions at?" You know what I'm saying? So the point that I'm making is, if you don't want my damn tacos, stop buying my damn tacos.
Yeah, but
right?
Everybody's buying the Mayweather fight on May 5th.
Everybody's buying the May fight on May 5th, all right? He keeps selling them damn tacos, and y'all keep buying them, talking about you shouldn't be fighting on this day. If you don't buy it, he won't fight on that day. Have you guys ever thought about that? So, yeah,
and it's like I said, man, this promoter put these fights together, right? And it's not the fights that we really want to see, but what do? We go and buy these fights, right? Well, what does the promoter do when he sits down and checks how that fight did? He says, "Oh, wait a minute. We did, a certain amount. We can continue to do this because the fans are buying it." However, think about it this way. However, if this promoter's put a fight that you don't want to see, and let's say just because you're a boxing fan, it's not the fight you want to see, but you kind of want to see it because it's boxing at the end of the day. If you just wait a week, or if you just stream it for free to where it's hurting their pocket, right? And then after that, we all as fans flood their corporations' emails with the fights we want to see. You would know that they're going to be sitting at the table talking about what just happened. Hey, why didn't we do good in this fight? But this is the type of emails we're getting from the people. At the end of the day, people want to think boxing is controlled by the promoters, by whatever TV HBO or Showtime. But really and truly, when you go down to the foundation, boxing is really controlled by what the fan wants to accept. And if we keep accepting this trash fight, if we keep accepting the fact that all these great fighters are being banned from HBOs, right? Then it's gonna keep happening because guess what? They're looking at us. They'll keep buying what they're offering. It's like if you go to if a salesman comes up to you and he's offering you a product and you don't like it, but you buy it, he's gonna keep selling. He's gonna keep coming back and offering you similar product that you don't like it, but he's gonna offer it. Why? Because you keep buying it. The minute you tell that salesman, you know what, get the hell out of my face and bring me what I want, you know, he's gonna want to go and get what you want. Trust me.
And you know, it's just once again ridiculous when fighters that are on a coincidental list like Al, or people that are on a coincidental list like Al Heyman, you know, he getting blamed for stopping fights. Meanwhile, Bob Arum, he gets a pass when, like I said, once again, all of a sudden he has a problem with a Mexican guy fighting on a Mexican holiday when this is the holiday that Floyd Mayweather fights every single year. Can you imagine if this was Al Heyman doing this? Can you imagine if Al Heyman said, "Oh, hell no, Floyd, you ain't fighting on no Mexican holiday. That's for Canelo," and so on and so forth. The nerve of Floyd Mayweather. Imagine if Al Heyman was saying something like this, boy. They would have assassinated that man.
Sheer buffoonery.
Let us not forget Bob Arum was the one that said that he enjoys watching the Mexicans and the blacks rip their head while him and his rich buddies sit next to the ring and enjoy a show. Let us not forget that. That came out of his mouth 6 years ago. Oh, wait a minute. Now we're touching on a subject people don't want to hear about. But you know what? Like I'm here to watch.
I'm appalled.
Go ahead, Ranger.
This is another thing I noticed, too, about the whole issue is a lot of the government used to brainwash. They used to do, like, experiments brainwashing people, like soldiers and stuff like that.
For sure,
I think Bob Arum has, like, studied that era.
Mastered it.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Brainwash and math. And he studied those techniques. And I think that's what happens. And the reason I know what's happening is where they're brainwashing, like, naive fans is because notice how all these excuses or these reasons for the fight not happening, they're never talked about. Dante, you got a channel, ton of subscribers. I got a channel. And there was nobody on my channel, any video I did about Pacquiao Mayweather, that was saying, man, this fight shouldn't happen on May 2nd. Floyd called out, before Bob Arum said this Mexican date, there was the call-out. And I did a video of it. Nobody said this fight shouldn't happen on May 2nd because it's the Mexican date. All of a sudden, Bob Arum said, oh, it's a Mexican date, and now it's a problem. Nobody cared about an outdoor stadium.
Shit.
Bob Arum's like, oh, we do need an outdoor stadium.
The space station.
Like, why wasn't this an issue beforehand? Why wasn't it an issue before Bob Arum said it? Why didn't you come to this conclusion that the Mexican dates would interfere before Bob Arum told you it would be a problem? And I look at it like this. This is the last thing I'll say. A fight that's been 5-6 years in the making with tons of controversy, if you have any opportunity to get it done, whether they're fighting in the Kmart parking lot, if they're fighting on May 2nd, if they're fighting on the moon, I don't care where they're fighting, Chuck E. Cheese. If you have the opportunity, you need to take it. So everything is an excuse other than that to me. Like, oh, we can't because they're releasing the new Captain America. Like, no, just fight.
Hey, propaganda's a motherfucker, right?
Yeah, boy.
Ain't it
already.
Ain't it? And you know what, Ego and Norrin, Bob summed up everything y'all said with one analogy. Fans are like dumb rocks. You can kick them in any direction. You know, so everything we saying.
Leaves
like
in the
I
wind.
said,
Kick me, though.
I'll be damned if you kick me.
That's because you're not a dumb, casual ass.
Yeah, he gonna hurt his motherfucking foot, break every damn bone in his damn foot trying to kick me.
Boulders and mountains, baby.
Yeah, but any damn way. Yeah, I mean, like I said, man, we know what time it is, man. But we got about 10 minutes. I want to go ahead. It's running fast, boy. Another
year in review.
Huh?
Year in review.
The review?
Year in review.
Year in review.
There we go.
Let's go over some of the, fighter of the years, perhaps fight of the years.
Yeah, fight of the year. Fight of the year.
That's an excellent idea,
Prospect
and I'm gonna tell you, I hate this because if I don't write it down, I done forgot a lot of the damn biggest fights. So
I told y'all what mine is.
Go ahead.
Crawford Gamboa. Crawford Gamboa.
Crawford Gamboa is fighter of the, is the fighter of the year.
Gamboa fight of the year.
Okay, who else got?
Fighter of the year, Terrence Crawford.
Who else?
Terrence Crawford.
Oh, no doubt about it.
Hey, okay,
but you know they're gonna give it to Golovkin. No, I'm just telling you. Or they gonna give it to
boy.
Kovalev.
Ooh, Golovkin for knocking out Rubio. And by the way,
they might give it to Korobov. Shit.
Rubio, the real fighter. Rubio, the real fighter.
Exactly. He got knocked out by Kofi Jantua 10 years ago. Marco Antonio Rubio. Hey, yeah, real talk. Hey, listen, fight of the year, Robert Guerrero and Kamagai. That shit was a slug.
That was a beast of a and that's the type of fight people forget about, too.
I mean? Yeah.
I watched that fight live. That was a good-ass fight.
That was like Ward and Gotti. That was like Ward Gotti.
Yeah, absolutely. And
then also Matisse versus Molina. That was a good fight.
That's what I was just about to bring up.
Yeah, that was a good one, too.
Yeah, but I favor Gamboa versus Crawford because there was more skill in that fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I picked that, too. I choose either that Gamboa Crawford or Danny Garcia Rod Salka. I mean, that's second.
Oh shit! Holy shit!
I can't believe I forgot about that.
Holy shit! Lightning Rod.
I can't believe I forgot about that fight.
Like that.
How you gonna forget about Lightning Rod?
Hey, for real though,
y'all motherfuckers crazy. Y'all motherfuckers cray.
I just gotta say, shit. Orlando Salido, honorable mention. He had an excellent fight against some guy in Thailand.
Oh, I know. Yeah, that was a good one.
Orlando Salido against somebody in Thailand.
Oh man,
that was a crazy.
Orlando Salido versus some Thai fighter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, the fight of the year, Orlando versus some Thai fighter. Yeah.
Talk about
it's a good fight though.
Talk about another contradiction though. If it's about boring or not, Orlando Salido should be pound for pound king, man, because that guy is not boring at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Salido?
Huh?
Who are you talking about? Salido? Orlando Salido?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm not saying literally he should be, but I'm saying like since people are talking about this guy's boring and this and that, and he's not because he gets entertaining matches. Listen, Orlando Salido is not even considered I don't know what.
Yeah.
And he's like a crazy fighter.
He's a very underrated fighter.
Hey,
think Lomachenko?
The guy so far to be.
Hey, I don't want to get to it. All right, we save that for 2 days.
Right now.
But do you think Lomachenko will rematch him?
Rematch
Salido.
Salido.
He should. Just for legacy.
Yeah, he should.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he should.
He's not going to.
Yeah.
He's not going to.
Okay.
Well, who would you
I
got?
got it real quick.
Back on point.
Disappointed at Lomachenko if he didn't.
Say what?
Because they're both on their top rank. There's no reason not to make that fight.
Yeah, you're right.
No, Salido's at 130. I'm pretty sure Lomachenko don't want to move up to 130, and he's not really ready. He haven't really been fighting pressure fighters. He need to start. He need to fight more of pressure fighters in order to beat a guy like Salido.
Yeah,
good point,
He's been fighting technical fighters.
I agree.
Good point, AK.
If people only knew the reality of Lomachenko's amateur story, they wouldn't believe Bob Arum. They wouldn't believe everything they hear. Trust me. If they really dig into his story,
that's another
they will
story
see that he's
for another day.
He's not the unstoppable machine that they call him out to be.
This is true.
Mm-hmm.
This is true.
Now, another one real quick. What was the upset of the year?
Yeah.
You got Algieri versus Provodnikov. You got
I can't consider it Lara Canelo because that was a robbery. I'm talking about literal.
That wasn't an upset.
You know what?
That was an evenly matched fight. No upset.
Yeah, it was an evenly matched fight. That's the only reason why I was. I mean, it would be. It's a slight upset because some people were leaning towards Canelo, but Lara won the fight. Like I said, I'm going off of my eyes. I ain't going off of what somebody sitting down and said.
I would actually say Rigondeaux versus Donaire because it made a lot of people upset.
Rigo versus Donaire. That was last year.
I would say Donaire. I would say maybe I would say Donaire versus Walters. I picked Walters to win, but a lot of people they're and even if the people that did pick Walters, they're picking him to win decision. So I think Donaire getting stretched and knocked the fuck out is definitely up there for the upset of the year.
Yeah. I gotta say, I made money off the fight. Walters was a favorite, a slight favorite.
Yeah.
I said Herrera versus Danny Garcia. I said Herrera versus Danny Garcia, but Herrera didn't win the fight. He got robbed.
So that could be considered
he got
an
robbed
upset,
twice this year.
That could be.
I would almost be
I
tempted to
think
say
you could give it to Cotto versus Martinez.
Oh, there
okay.
you go.
There,
That was the shit, right?
absolutely.
That's number one. You're right, King. That is
good
number one. I
Good
would say that is number one, and I would say number two would be.
Even I thought fucking Martinez.
Who?
What's number 2, D?
No, I would say number two.
I had Martinez going into that fight. You know, a lot of people have Martinez. He was champion.
Oh no, they didn't give Cotto a shot.
Cotto was thought of as a guy that
They didn't. Hey, and once real quick, this is what I hate about the politics in boxing, man. Like I said, when people, the whole thing is, when I'm letting my little music come in real quick. Okay, there we go.
The rhythm.
Now, this is my whole thing. I hate this. When people give a fighter no chance at all, but then once he wins, then all of a sudden, oh man, you know, Sergio Martinez was broken all up and his knees was fucked up. Let me tell you something, man. I just had a meniscus tear in my knee. I got another bad right knee. Both of my knees are fucked up. And I can tell you right now, I cannot circle around the ring for fucking 10 rounds straight, bouncing in different angles. So I don't believe that excuse, man. But, see, I started talking about this. I was going to say, so, number two. Number 2 on that upset of the year, like I said, Provodnikov versus Algieri. The reason why I call it an upset is because
that's
once
a legitimate
again,
upset. That's legitimate.
Once again, nobody gave Algieri a shot. Nobody gave Miguel Cotto a shot. So that is the true definition of an upset as far as I'm concerned. Guys, we are out of time. I want to say, you know, a post Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy New Year, 2015. Man, we changing the motherfucking game.
True indeed.
It ain't just YouTube no more. It ain't just YouTube no more.
Word
We're
up.
going way beyond some motherfucking YouTube.
True
I'm telling
indeed.
y'all that right now. You know what I'm saying? Eagles in the building. AKA Rap Kings in the building. Ekingfightnews. YTBC.
Theme music.
My man Ranger, welcome back. And my man in the studio, co-host, drop it, Norrin.
Hey yo. Tough times, tough people last, tough times don't. We're going to leave it at that. 2015, here we come. The nation, baby.
Yeah, and we serving all decafs, baby. Step in line. We will not turn down any decaf. Everyone can get it.
Hey, pack turds too. Pack turds too, if you're still alive.
Those are grand decafs. Those are grand decafs. You listen, just understand something. A lot of these fools out there are decafs too. And some of these decafs look just like you. We on to the next one, y'all.